Hey YouTube, this is Jaden coming at you with another video, and on this one specifically, I'm going to be discussing, I'm also going to be posting on here reviews of the anime series, and I am going to do, first, this video is going to be dedicated to a review of Season 1. I will then eventually, sometime, I don't know why I said eventually twice, a review of Season 2, and then I'm not sure if I'm going to do a review of Season 3 until its conclusion, which I don't know how long that's going to take, or if I'm going to just do a review of each episode as I see it, because I do also watch the Japanese anime on here on YouTube. But anyway, so today we're going to be talking about the Season 1 of Vanguard. Now, we find out as we open up of this new card game called Cardfight Vanguard, and it supposedly is taking the world by storm. We are introduced to a young boy named Aichi Sendo attending I don't recall if they ever specify what grade he's in. I believe it's middle school, but I don't know. But that's not important. But he's attending school, and like most characters, as it seems in these shows, the main character, he has about as much self-esteem as he doesn't have any, period. So he's a very quiet, shy, keeps to himself, hermit crab. He just kind of stays in his shell. And there's people who can identify with this, and I think everyone can also identify with the fact that he was also bullied because he was different. And unfortunately, bullying is something that affects our society in big ways, so this is sadly identifiable through a lot of people. But anyway, he is bullied by two people who ironically end up becoming his best friend, and along the way meets new friends and discovers the world of Cardfight Vanguard. Speeding ahead, he meets such friends as Misaki Tokura, the young girl whose fierce attitude and amazing memory cripples her opponents. We meet the steadfast but also very calm and collective Toshiki Kai, who, as we start watching Season 1, we're not really sure what his motive is as far as his relationship with Aichi, or if he even wants to have one. We're also introduced to a very young, hot-headed kid named Kamui Tatsuragi, who at first does not like Aichi, but eventually turns over a new leaf when he realizes that he has the hots for Aichi's sister, what's her name? Emmy. And we see a few episodes of pretty much them getting to know each other, and then them having a shop tournament where the four friends of Aichi Sendo, Misaki Tokura, Toshiki Kai, and Kamui Katsuragi join forces to form the team that will forever be known as Team Quadrifolio, or Team Q4 for short, as they head to the Vanguard Team Regional Tournament to try and qualify for the National Tournament. Now, as it turns out, they go to Nationals. Please note, I'm kind of doing this just as fast as I can while giving the general idea of the season. Moving on, they go to regionals, they meet some new people. Aichi learns what it's like to play on the national level instead of just playing at your local game store, which I'm sure we've all seen when we play at our local game store, when we go to a bigger tournament where it's outside our comfort zone. Anyway, they go to regionals and they qualify for the national tournament. Well, as it turns out, most of the time when we go to a big tournament, our first time there is never our best, and for Aichi, it's no different. When he very first goes to the national tournament, they do a C+ job. They don't amaze, but they don't disappoint. They show prowess. They show promise, as long as they're willing to work for it. Well, Aichi, very depressed because he feels he let the team down because of his inexperience for the game. So he decides to take a trip to a little card shop named Ultra Rare, and Sci Shop, and meets with the group Ultra Rare. There he meets the debut of the protagonist for the series, Ren Susukamori, and Ren offers him a new deck and awakens an ability in Aichi that he is starting to see pieces of here and there called Psyqualia. Psyqualia, in short, is an ability to where the cards in your deck can communicate with you, tell you how to play, and not guarantee your victory, but make it much more, take it more out of your hands and just being told what to do. Aichi takes to Psyqualia like a bee to honey. He jumps on it and latches onto it and loves it. He goes from not being a very powerful individual to having a lot of it. Well, as it turns out then, the regionals is coming up again. They go to regionals and they blow their way through it. Then they go to the national tournament. At this point, Toshiki Kai has noticed a change in Aichi Sendo's behavior and leaves the team. This upsets Aichi Sendo very greatly because he challenged Kai to a fight because he felt he was better, and Toshiki Kai told him that he had become weaker. Even though Aichi had become stronger, but he was in essence also weaker because he was relying on a power to win his card fights for him, not because of his skill or his inner strength. We see 2 episodes stretched over a time period where Kai and Aichi have a fierce showdown where Aichi Sendo uses the new deck given to him by Renzu Tsukumori, the Shadow Paladin units, which Aichi claims is the clan that he was meant to play while he's under Psyqualia's haze, and he is playing Toshiki Kai, who is actually using Aichi's old deck against him, the Royal Paladins. Now, fun fact, the match never has an ending, but Kai eventually talks Aichi back out of his little dark haze and becomes the old Aichi Sendo that we see, only a stronger, more knowing version of himself. We see them go to nationals. At this point, they are just 1 win away from facing Renzu Tsukumori and his team, Team Asteroid. Well, up until now, Aichi has used Psyqualia in all of his card fights since he has acquired the ability and gained knowledge of it. They are fighting the fearsome Team Caesar, and Aichi's very first opponent is Kote, and he is trying to not rely on his ability of Psyqualia. Well, either by fate, luck, or actual skill, Aichi Sendo somehow manages to defeat Kote and pushes his team on so that they get to fight Asteroid in the final. Well, the first fight of the match is Kamui Katsuragi taking on Tetsu Shenzo, the general and Dark Irregular user for Team Asteroid. Kamui fights bravely, but unfortunately he loses to Tetsu, but does put up a pretty decent fight in my opinion. We move on to Misaki Tokura versus Asaka Narumi. Now, Asaka is the girl that defeated Misaki the year before at Nationals with her fearsome Pale Moon deck that abuses the soul, and that Misaki never saw coming. Through 2 episodes, 60 and 61, I believe. Please note you can go to the Cardfight Vanguard channel present on YouTube, and watch the entire first season if you wish. Misaki extracts her revenge by using her fearsome memory to cripple the Pale Moon Circus clan with her amazing memory to study her deck and memorize when her triggers are going to hit, ensuring her victory. Then the final showdown that we have waited over 50 episodes to see. Aichi Sendo versus Renzu Tsukumori, the Royal Paladins versus the Shadow Paladins, Blaster Blade versus Blaster Dark. The match that we've all wanted to see, right? Well, over 3 episodes, we see a great fight on all means. We see Aichi still struggling with his Psyqualia, Ren telling him the only way that Aichi stands even half a chance is to give in to Psyqualia. And then, towards the end, when it all seems lost, Aichi pulls a Miracle Heal trigger to go to his next turn, where we see the card that saves Aichi from his dark past, or dark self, I guess you should say. And that card is none other than Majesty Lord Blaster, the lord of all the Royal Paladins. And he uses this card to once and for all beat Ren Suzuki and his Shadow Paladin deck and conquers Psyqualia, and also freeing Ren from the grasp of Psyqualia that Ren has been clinging to for many, many years. In the closing, we also see Ren Suzuki walking back out of the stadium. Sad because he did lose in the final to the national championship, but it seems like a big 50-pound weight had been lifted from his chest because he finally was back to being the old Ren that we didn't really get to see until Season 2 as far as the old Ren is concerned, but we did get to see a little piece of it in that instance because we see him look at Kai, smile, and Kai knows that he has the friend that he had growing up is back. We also then see a flash of Misaki, Kamui, and Aichi holding up the World Championship trophy, and Dr. O presenting them with the World Championship, meaning they're the number one team in Japan and the national champion. In the very closing minutes of Season 1, on Episode 63, we see Aichi Sendo in his home, and he is running to his card shop, and he walks in the door. There his friends stand, and they're smiling at him. As they step aside, Aichi sees no one else than the person that he respects the most, the one and only Toshiki Kikai, and Toshiki Kikai tells him that he has been standing in that card shop all day waiting to have a card fight with Aichi Sendo. Aichi simply asks, "Why did you wait to have a battle with me?" And Kai simply answers, "Because you're one of the strongest card fighters I know." The moral of this whole point that Kai has been trying to make is strength does not come from any ability that we may possess or that we're gifted with. It comes from deep inside of us. True strength comes from within. I hope you enjoyed this review of Season 1. I tried to make it as informing and as short as possible because keep in mind there were 63 episodes, so I kind of had to shrink this down a little bit. I didn't want to give away everything because I do expect you, if you haven't really watched Vanguard that much, go to the Cardfight channel and watch the entire Season 1 in its entirety, all 63 episodes. Season 2 has been started to be posted. We're getting close to the end of Season 2 as far as the English anime goes. If you would like to watch the Japanese, it's here on YouTube too, so make sure you check that out. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, please let me know if you like this. Let me know how my synopsis did of the first season. And finally, I would like to give a grade of this season. As far as the first season of Cardfight Vanguard, I give it an A+. It deals with everything that we deal with in our lives. Struggling with ourself, learning to accept ourselves for who we are, and finding inner strength and purpose. It deals with every issue that everyone deals with growing up, and it hits it on the nail head. And as far as I'm concerned, because I did watch Yu-Gi-Oh! As well, the first season of Cardfight Vanguard destroyed the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! Bushiroad, you did amazing with the first season of Vanguard. It was an amazing season. I hope you put this out on DVD, because the second it is in English, I am going to buy it, because it was amazing. Thank you for an amazing Season 1, and thank you for the new seasons coming. But in closing, I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. You can keep up with Cardfight Vanguard as the new episodes are posted here on YouTube, and I will continue to do reviews as we move along. I had a lot of fun doing this. Thanks for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.